For over 3 years, one of the finest award-winning journalists, Julian Assange, has been imprisoned in Belmarsh high security prison and kept in solitary confinement. Julian Assange, the crime he has committed is to tell the uncomfortable truth to people in power about wrongdoing and war crimes committed by the West in the Middle East and Africa, and for corruption by Western governments and indeed governments all around the world. For doing that, he has won numerous journalistic prizes, record numbers of journalistic prizes, but he's embarrassed people in America who thought they could use systems of punishment called extraordinary rendition, where people who the Americans want to torture but aren't allowed to do through international law are secretly transported abroad to countries that will torture them, and these 30 third-party states have been documented by Julian Assange and WikiLeaks to torture people on behalf of Western governments, the UK government and the United States government. These are shocking things to happen in countries that call themselves democracies. These are shocking things to be done by nations that criticise other nations' human rights record. If we want to live in a country that we can be proud to be a part of, we need to have a fair judicial system that does not punish journalists for publishing the truth.
Yes,
it is
absolutely
unacceptable for a journalist to publish the truth and then be extradited to a country whose crimes he has uncovered. This is what we're doing by deporting, allowing the extradition of Julian Assange to the USA. Priti Patel is about to sign a piece of paper saying that he can be taken away to the United States of America and put into solitary confinement for a 175-year sentence. Now, none of us believe that Julian Assange has committed any kind of crime. But if you disagree and think perhaps some secrecy law has been broken by Julian Assange, that would be a non-violent crime. Is it really fair that someone who has never committed a violent crime should face a sentence of 175 years in solitary confinement? Solitary confinement is widely considered to be torture by groups such as the UN Council on Human Rights and the UN Council on Human Rights. It is an inhumane thing to do, is to keep someone in a small cell, not even allowed books, not allowed access to the legal documents, not allowed counsel from his legal team so that he can defend himself against trumped up charges. We must not allow journalists to be treated in the way that Julian Assange is currently being treated, by being imprisoned in the UK's equivalent to Guantanamo Bay, locked away for years and years on end, with the threat hanging over his head that he will be deported to the United States to face 175 years in solitary confinement. Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
We need to free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
There is only one decision.
No extradition!
Julian Assange must not be extradited to the United States for publishing the truth.
No!
ridiculous to do so. We have a Home Secretary, Priti Patel, who's currently signing documents so that asylum seekers, the most vulnerable people seeking asylum in the UK, will be immediately deported to a third-party country, Rwanda. Is this really something that British people can allow? Where is our feeling for justice? You cannot deport asylum seekers to a third-party country. We have an obligation to make sure people who need asylum should be housed reasonably in the UK. But this very same woman who's breaking all international law is signing away this journalist's right so he can be imprisoned for the rest of his natural life in solitary confinement because he published the truth of war crimes that a country would rather cover up. How can we forgive ourselves for allowing this injustice to take place on British soil? Please take a leaflet, read what's being done to Julian Assange. There's plenty of addresses and links so you can find ways to be involved. We need a free press in the UK and the rest of the world to uncover the wrongdoing of people in power so we can vote in people who represent what we want done in Parliament. We cannot have a democratic system in the UK while we have censorship, and there is no better example of unjust censorship in the UK than the continual imprisonment of Julian Assange in Belmarsh, Britain's Guantanamo Bay. A man who has never committed any acts of violence whatsoever. His only crime is to publish war crimes and the truth about corruption around the world. Please help us to free Julian Assange and bring back justice to the UK, a judicial system that we can be proud of. The people in Britain can be proud of having a fair country where people are treated with respect, where we have journalism, newspapers that are free to publish information that is in the public interest. This is a key area of censorship. In order to convict Julian Assange, the Americans used testimony from a man called Sigurdur Þórðarson, an Icelandic man who is a compulsive liar. He's on the public record in the Icelandic press. He has admitted that he committed perjury. Not only is he the key witness in Julian Assange's trial, he's really the only witness. So the only witness in the trial has committed that he was lying. Now why would a man, Sigurdur Þórðarson, lie? Well, it turns out that Sigurdur Þórðarson is himself a criminal and he has abused 13 children who are minors. 13 of them, one of which has committed suicide as a result of the abuse that he experienced from Sigurdur Þórðarson. So a plea bargain was agreed. An agreement was made that Sigurdur Þórðarson would commit perjury in a UK court so that Julian Assange would be wrongly convicted, so that these charges, justice, could be stopped, so that his abuse of children could be overlooked by the Icelandic authorities. Now, if that sounds like fair justice to you, then you're living in a different world from the world that I want to live in. We must not allow that kind of criminality to take over our court system. Justice not only must be done, it must be seen to be done, and it must be fair. We cannot lose journalistic freedom in the UK, Europe, America and the rest of the world. This really is a fight for journalistic freedom. Once Assange is taken to the United States to face 175 years in solitary confinement, what journalist would dare leak information of war crimes again? Nobody would want to lose their life to imprisonment in solitary confinement. The press will no longer be able to publish the truth. We will no longer be able to read the facts of what's going on being conducted in our name. Please support our campaign to free Julian Assange. Free, free Julian Assange!
Free, free, free Assange!
Free, free Julian 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 Assange!
There is only one decision!
No extradition!
Only one decision!
No extradition!
Stop this journalist being taken away from the UK on trumped-up charges and being put in solitary confinement in the USA. This is a travesty of justice. Don't blind your eyes to what's going on to Julian Assange. Once his freedoms are gone, so will the freedom of the Western press. All of our freedoms depend on justice for Julian Assange. Thank you very much. Hope you're...